Ollie,
Hello.
talking about what you've been playing, so you've been using your Switch quite a bit. How would you like a Nintendo Switch Pro?
Ooh.
So it's been rumored for a long time, hasn't it? We were saying we've kind of collected all of the Joy-Cons, so my largest concern for that is that they're gonna overhaul the Joy-Cons and our large collection of colors won't work.
I bet they won't overhaul the Joy-Cons, because I bet this is literally just going to be for a lot of people like us three, us four, basically just a slot-in replacement almost.
I know the rumors are just kind of 4K screen, larger screen potentially.
So so basically what's happened is Bloomberg, which, Bloomberg are always on fucking point at these days because they have the things.
They got the journalistic chops.
Yeah, sort of. Jason Schreier works there now.
That was basically what I was going to say.
Yeah, but this isn't Jason Schreier. This is Takashi Mochizuki, who is just a long-time Japanese reporting
correspondent.
Correspondent. But the thing that's happened is that Samsung Display Co., which is a subsidiary of the Samsung family, will be producing the screens for the Nintendo Switch Pro.
I see.
Because a large portion of them have just been effectively bought up and directed that way. So the current rumor is, which it's not a root. Is it a rumor if you already know which screen is going to be in the model? And why has this company bought it? Oh, it must be for this. So it will be a 720p OLED screen on the handheld, which people were like, it should be 1080p. My phone is 1080p. And it's just like, yeah, but your phone's not really 1080p. It is just a very high density pixel, like especially with like the iPhones, which can certainly display 4K and looks very nice, but they are not 4K panels. They are very, pixels are very smart. They can put hundreds together now, and that's what these are going to be. So if you're playing normally in handheld with your screen, a few feet away from your face, you aren't going to know. You're going to go, this looks fucking great.
No, my eyes are trained now to see all the pixels.
And it's just, but like these panels so people have been looking at these panels, and people said like, hey, like Jeff Grubb from GamesBeat was just like, hey, don't fucking worry about it not being 1080p handheld.
Oh, yeah.
You will not notice the fucking difference. Also, you will appreciate it because at 720p OLED, like the amount of battery life will be massively increased from what is currently in the current Switch. If it was 1080p, you'll get like the same performance or less, because hey, this piece of hardware is going to put out even less. But I suspect this will just be like, hey, it's a Switch Pro, and you can just I would really like Nintendo to put out a SKU that is just a just the panel, like just the
as in
tablet
without the actual Joy-Cons.
Without Joy-Cons.
Are we talking kind of any update at all to the docked mode, or is this purely going to be a handheld update?
So the docked mode will be able to display 4K on televisions.
Okay.
So it will basically upscale to 4K. It won't be like native 4K because it's just not gonna happen at any time soon.
I wonder how needlessly complicated it's going to be to transfer your save data.
Well, have you tried to transfer save data between two Switches at the minute?
I was going to say I've experienced this in person because Hannah ended up buying the Animal Crossing Switch way back when, and we had to transfer stuff over then. And now she's also bought a new SD card to get more space, and then moving it from the console to the SD card. And oh yeah, no, it's definitely could use streamlining.
Yeah, at least it's better than what it was on 3DS.
I bought a new 3DS and just never bothered to transfer my save data. I was like, I will sacrifice the eShop Pokemon Red that I have installed to not have to do this.
The best thing about the 3DS save transfer, like system transfer thing was the Pikmin animation that would go between the Pikmin would box up your saves and carry them to the other 3DS, which was really cute, but also horrendously slow because it did it over like its own Wi-Fi network, and the 3DS didn't have particularly good Wi-Fi hardware in it.
Did either of you ever experience the Xbox 360 data transfer if you had a new hard drive, where you had to basically apply from Microsoft for a special cable to connect your two hard drives?
Do you remember the data transfer cable? Yeah, because I think we did sell a couple when I worked at CEX.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think I ever experienced that. I think I was just more of
I had to apply for a data transfer cable, and it was like a 4-week wait just to transfer my save data.
Man,
I think the only stuff I've ever requested from other companies is the Wii remote condoms.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which Nintendo was sort of like forced to start handing out for free at the start, but it took like a year for them to arrive, and by the time they arrived, I was sort of like mentally done with the Wii. Like I had a 360 at that point. I was playing Halo. I was being a teenager. And the Guitar Hero MIDI controller.
Is this the DS one?
No, for the World Tour, to calibrate the drums properly, or you needed to connect them to a PC.
Oh man. What a fact.
And you could calibrate them via the TV, like normal. But if you also, this MIDI controller would let you use the drum kit on like a PC for like music.
All right. Yeah.
Stuff.
I guess it's possibly functional as an electronic drum kit.
Yeah, and I don't know why I requested it, because I didn't have any of the kit that would be able to plug it in, plug it into.
It was free, and you wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. I read about it. I was like, I'll make music, and sure enough, I never did.
While I remember speaking about the Wii remote jackets. One of my favorite things to do when I was working at CES, because we used to have so many of those rubber Wii condom things, was I would get about 5 of them, and I would put one on each finger, and I'd be like Freddy Krueger, but just with these floppy rubber Wii remote condom things, just being like blah blah blah.
Just imagining
the real reason Jacob no longer works at CES.
Harassing people with Wii remote condoms. That's right.
You grab someone through the bed, grabbing Johnny Depp through the bed.
Yeah, that was good.
Welcome to prime time, bitch! As you smash someone's TV with a Wii remote.
Chuck a Wii remote at their TV.
The real nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. Like the rumors swirling around this fucking Switch Pro. Are never ending, but the problem with the problem with a Switch Pro in the 2021, like, so apparently this will be launching. They've got plans for this year,
probably like
supposedly.
Winter.
Yeah. I would like. Do you get an announcement at around E3 time?
Probably.
Yeah, like the CEO of Nintendo said recently, like, hey, we've got no plans. It's just like, yeah, well,
you said that,
buddy. You said that about, the Switch last time, and like, well, we got no plans, and then suddenly it's like, hey, there's a Switch on the way, and it's like, oh, right, okay.
I admit I would be interested. I'd have to obviously see what more it can do, if it is going to do any more. But I mean, my Switch is, I don't know how much longer my Switch is going to last with it being bent and all sorts. So I'm in the market for a new Switch potentially quite soon. So actually, yeah, this would work out quite nicely for me.
So then the other rumors attached to this was that some third party developers are saying, hey, we might only be releasing Switch Pro games from now on.
Ooh. It's going to be. This was what I was scared of happening when the new Nintendo 3DS came out.
And
there was like a couple of them, wasn't there?
It was only Hyrule Warriors and Xenoblade Chronicles that
I got real scared, being like, "Oh shit, everyone's gonna have to buy this new system, and everyone's gonna hate Nintendo." Hopefully, it's similar in that sense.
But the difference between then and now is that there is not a chip shortage. There is I can't remember what the fucking. Hang on, I'm gonna have to look up the actual name of the chip. Semiconductor chips.
Right.
So the reason why PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's and also graphics cards kind of are hard to come by, like even when they get restocked and there's only like 5 in stock at game.
Do not get me started on graphics cards right now. Oh,
why?
Because Hannah is in the process of getting bits and pieces together to build her own PC. And her odyssey of trying to get a fucking graphics card is just
she is going to be struggling until at least
for
next
a long
year.
time.
So graphics cards is like its own situation entirely. Like fucking hell, like the graphics card situation is fucking abysmal.
She managed to get one in her Amazon shopping basket to then check out, and it was gone.
Yes,
much like me and my PS5 initially. Funnily enough,
yeah. So the issue at the minute is obviously with COVID happening. Semiconductors are used in basically everything and anything. So with COVID happening last year, all the car manufacturers sort of went, well, we're shutting down our factories because, you know, COVID, like we need to send everyone home and we're not going to be open for a while, so we won't fucking put any orders in for semiconductors. Bearing in mind that then all the semiconductor companies, and this is just across the board, like factories across the board, manufacturing plants, cars, etc. But it seems like cars are being hit the worst, where like the factories are having to stay closed because they literally cannot build anything.
Wow.
So what's happened is these manufacturing plants have gone, well, we don't want to buy any semiconductors because we don't know when we're going to be open again. And then, you know, safety regulations came in, things started to get, you know, a little bit easier. And all the semiconductor manufacturing plants sort of went, well, one, we're behind because of COVID. Like, you didn't put any orders in, so we can't just fucking magic any of them up. And also, you didn't put any orders in, like, any forethought into, like, hey, you know, we might need some in 2021. Let's put an order in now, and then we'll have them for next year. So that's basically the issue, is like there's a shortage because everybody is trying to go after a very small supply of semiconductors, which then leads into why the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and the S are so scarce, is because they might be, you know, scarce because COVID and manufacturing plants and stuff like that, but they wouldn't be as scarce if the semiconductor shortage wasn't happening. It also ties in with like US relations with China and sanctions and whatnot, and the Trump administration fucking things up. It's a fucking mess, but it also affects like graphics cards, but then also it has highlighted the fact that bots and stuff on the web are prevalent in a way that people didn't particularly realize last console generation, or like, so the fact that Nintendo might potentially release a Switch in 2021 when they can't keep up with demand for the regular Switch or the Switch Lite, like is I wouldn't be surprised if they announce it like this year and say like coming next year,
maybe
2022, because there is a glut of these OLED screens that they're putting on these Switch Pros. Like, Samsung have too many OLED screens, so the prices have dropped on the OLED screens, which will hopefully reduce the cost of the Switch overall. Like, it might still be within that £400 price range that the current Switch is at. But with the graphics card situation, it's fucking like every day I look at like what's happening with graphics cards, and it is fucking mental.
Yeah.
So you not only got the shortage and COVID preventing, mass manufacturing, but then you've also got the bots, the Bitcoin situation, and then Nvidia's trying to combat that by releasing dedicated mining graphics cards, but then they selling out, having to re-release leftover stock of the 1060, which is 2 or 3 years old at this point, just to facilitate, like, okay, maybe if we distract them with the 1060, the people that we actually want to buy the fucking graphics cards will be able to buy the graphics cards.
A bit, yeah.
But no, but like the 360 and the 360 Ti, I think, have both had Ethereum mining like nerfed, which I guess it will only be days, before someone gets hold of one and said like, I've reverse engineered it. Don't fucking worry, guys.
I'm going to be honest. There was a point when you talked about Ethereum mining being nerfed that I was like, this could be a Star Wars podcast right now. I don't actually know what that is.
Ethereum is the other cryptocurrency that people
fair one.
are mental over, and mostly requires GPUs to mine, which is just generating hundreds of thousands of codes and hoping that one of them contains Ethereum in it.
It's weird, I guess.
Man. Shit is weird, Jacob.
I don't understand it at all, but it all sounds very strange.
It is a fucking mess, and with the pandemic and just like making it all worse. Like the graphics card situation with Bitcoin has been an issue since the 1080 Ti came out, and the bubble was at like peak. Like, because I was working at it was my first month at Scan.
I was gonna say, I think I remember you talking about it when you were working there.
Yeah, like that December just before Christmas, Bitcoin was at an all-time high at the time in 2017, and it was actually cheaper for a 1080 PC. If you wanted a 1080 Ti at the time, it was actually cheaper to buy a fully made PC with it in than it was to buy the actual card itself.
Crazy.
So like the build, and that's what people suddenly clocked onto, where it was just like we had a glut of 1080 Ti PCs, but no one was fucking buying them because who wants a whole fucking PC? And then they realize, oh wait, this is £900. The fucking 1080 Ti is currently at 1,300, so I might as well just buy this. Yeah, it is. I don't know. Graphics cards are weird anyway. Like AMD just suddenly decided, we're going to release another one. Like, who? How are you making these? No one can fucking produce them fast enough. How are you releasing a new one? Yeah.
Throw it into the already chaotic marketplace.
And Intel have apparently got their own GPU graphics card on the way as well. Like, So if that's a third person wading in, and Intel actually have the capacity to do so, fair play, because relying on two companies that clearly can't produce enough and can't stop bots. Like AMD are now like AMD's solution to preventing, selling out of these cards super fast is just to sell them directly. But they, as people have pointed out, there is no way for them to prevent bots in any case. Like, people are still going to be able to bot and buy these things instantly like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's when Nvidia launched the 3000 series and they had the countdown, and the countdown hit 1, everyone, refreshed the page, went to go buy it, and they're already sold
They're all
out.
gone.
Because the bots were just like that. You can't beat a computer at reaction times. Anyway, I don't know. My opinion on the Switch Pro is it's needed because, hey, like, this console is 4 or 5 years old at this point. 4 years old.
Doesn't feel it.
It doesn't feel it.
I think that's because there was nothing on it for about a year.
True.
Yeah, it was just Zelda and, like,
it was the Zelda and Mario Kart machine.
A long period, between me getting Mario Kart with it, and then when Let's Go Eevee came out, was pretty much the period in between where I just didn't really play it.
That was around the time I bought mine. I got it as a Pokemon machine, just like my 3DSs before it.
Yeah, the thing with the Switch is, like, it has, like, the console itself isn't an issue. I guess, Jacob, your console itself is an issue, considering it is...
I don't know what happened, but yeah.
bent in
He's
half.
A bendy boy.
A bendy boy, and about to explode.
Possibly. Who knows?
But I think the issue at the minute with the Switch isn't, like, the actual hardware itself, because, hey, everyone fucking bought one for Animal Crossing. Like, they are still outselling the big consoles regularly. Because of Animal Crossing and Mario Kart alone. Like, I think the figure was like 9 out of 10 Switches have Mario Kart bought.
Yeah, well, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me
at this point. The issues with the Switch is, like, hey, there is too much fucking software on this thing, and a lot of it is junk, and all the interface to navigate the store is junk.
It's not great.
Like, browsing that store is one of the most painful experiences. It is so slow. The PlayStation Store is slow, but also, this is this is like on another fucking level. This is like, at least with the PlayStation Store, you can go to a browser and just purchase through there, and it'll download it automatically. I know you can do that with the Switch, but then you still have to log in, and you have to make sure that you've got enough space on your SD card. And
it could be a lot better.
Could be a lot better. I think that's why you'll see a lot more cloud games on Switch. Like Hitman is cloud, and
the Control.
Yeah. Anyway, leaving Japan.
Well, we're out of Japan.
We're out of Japan, going to America.
Yeah.
That was the plane flying over.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I am very passionate about the current state of manufacturing and tech and stuff like that. It is all fucking insane.
Is this what your Twitter feed's full of?
No. Well, yes, I follow a lot of these accounts, like the analyst accounts.
Because I will admit, when you're going through some of these news stories and you get into the real nitty gritty, like you did just there, I'm like, where does Joel learn this stuff? I'd like to think that I keep up.
I haven't seen this posted about in r/games.
Yeah, I'm like, I keep up with video game news, generally speaking, but I'm like, where does Joel find all this information?
it's just a lot of like repeating verbatim, like a lot of news stories that I read. Like
Yeah.
it sinks into my brain and then it stays there, and I'm like, yeah, but what if I could like remember to bring the thing that my brother asked for that he needed to sign for the dentist to get his money back, and I didn't know about the manufacturing situation in China. Because it's not really relevant to the current issues at hand.
This is what just occupies Joel's brain.